Hello everyone, it's Jacob with the Game Block. So, the only Mario game that's been scheduled for 2022 is Mario + Rabbids Sparks of Hope. While that will certainly be a great game and it looks to be incredibly fun, it is still a third-party game, and we don't have any first-party games planned for next year for the plumber. So, today in this video, I'm going to be going over what could be next for the Mario franchise. This will not be going over any spin-offs like Mario Kart, Mario Party, or any of the Mario sports games, and will only be focusing on the mainline games. This video will also be divided into two main parts, the 2D games and the 3D games. So, with that all out of the way, I'm going to be jumping into the 2D games right now. So we haven't gotten a new 2D Mario game since 2012. Now I say new because we did get New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe on the Switch in 2019, but really that doesn't count because it's just a port of the original game. So what is Nintendo going to do next for 2D Mario games? So first I'd like to say that I believe there is definitely going to be a new 2D Mario game at some point. Some people are saying that they think Nintendo is going to focus only on the 3D games from now on, but I feel that Nintendo is not going to just drop one of their staple franchises. I mean, 2D Mario is what really got them into the gaming industry in the first place with the original Mario Bros. That said, I don't believe we're ever going to get a new Super Mario Bros. Game again. The new Super Mario Bros. Series of games has gotten incredibly repetitive over the years. This shows with Nintendo re-releasing New Super Mario Bros. U on the Switch rather than making a whole new game. I think that they're probably going to make a new 2D Mario game somewhat in the style of what the 3D World game style looks like in Super Mario Maker 2. We need a change from the new Super Mario Bros. Series graphics, which honestly look a little bit plasticky. The Super Mario 3D World style in Super Mario Maker 2 offered us a glimpse at that change, with the graphics not only looking in my opinion better, but also the camera placement being slightly different. Instead of just seeing the flat sides of the ground that Mario is walking on and all the terrain, you actually get a slightly almost 2.5D perspective. It's still completely 2D in gameplay, but you can actually see the grass Mario is running across, the tops of the bricks and blocks. It makes it look so much better in my opinion, and it adds a real sense of depth to the gameplay. Now this new game will definitely have its own look and feel, but what I'm getting at is that it can definitely take some elements from the 3D World style. I've already mentioned the camera, and another thing I'd like to mention is the character models. So in 3D World, when you become Small Mario after you take damage, you actually lose your hat and Mario actually looks somewhat natural, while in the new Super Mario Bros. Games, if you take damage, it just looks really weird, in my opinion. Mario's face is completely smushed, and his hat looks very low poly if you zoom in on it. It just, in my opinion, just does not look good, especially on an HD console where you can see all these details. Also, I do think that a lot of the animations should be a bit more detailed as well. In New Super Mario Bros., not only did all of the characters and enemies look kind of plasticky, but their animations seemed a little bit stiff almost. In 3D World, when a Goomba spots you, it jumps up, eyes going wide, and its mouth opening. While in New Super Mario Bros., 1, they don't even notice you, and 2, they just walk back and forth, only really blinking their eyes now and again. More lively animations would not only make the game just look better, but also would add a lot to the experience and just make it more fun. Now, a lot of things could be taken from the 3D World game style to make this game the best it can be, but also a few things from the new Super Mario Bros. Series as well. The new Super Mario Bros. Series' moveset is a lot more suited to a 2D environment rather than 3D World's 3D one. For example, the spin jump in that game is a lot more useful in 2D, and the fact that you can do a triple jump is really useful. Not only that, but a few things from the other 3D Mario games would be great to add as well. For example, having a dive in 2D would be really fun to have, and it would also make for some interesting gameplay elements. The controls could also be closer to 3D Mario games as well, so then if players come from a 3D Mario game and they want to try out this new 2D Mario game, they don't feel lost. The trigger buttons could be the ground pound button or the crouch button, depending if you're in the air or on the ground, and it could also allow you to do a dive when combined with Y, or roll if you're on the ground. But this next thing I think is even more important than all of these other things: a gimmick. All 3D Mario games have had a gimmick. 64 was the first one in 3D, Sunshine had FLUDD, Galaxy had spin and different types of gravity. 3D World and 3D Land had the 2D type of Mario formula put into 3D, and Odyssey has Cappy. It would be so cool to have some sort of gimmick like this in a 2D Mario game. Now, what would this gimmick be? Well, I have a few ideas. First off, any of the things from the 3D Mario games could easily be put into the 2D formula and it would work great. But I do want to think of some new ideas. My first idea is that what if instead of dropping coins, enemies dropped power-ups that gave you their abilities? Now, I know we already have a lot of power-ups that give abilities similar to that of a lot of enemies, but this could still open a whole new door to all sorts of gameplay ideas, especially the fact that we will likely be getting new enemies in this game, and we would be able to use their abilities. It's kind of like a combination of Kirby's mechanic where he gets enemies' abilities in Kirby games, and the capture mechanic in Mario Odyssey where you actually get to control the enemy. Imagine if you defeated a Goomba stack, and then you gained the ability to duplicate yourself and climb on top of each other. Or you defeated a Koopa Troopa, and you gained the ability to throw shells and ride along in them. The possibilities are absolutely endless, especially with the minds of the Nintendo developers, who come up with great enemies for every new game. Though the same can't be said about their bosses. Anyway, another idea I have is what if Mario was a spy? Now let me explain. What if Mario had to go undercover to stop Bowser's plans, and he had to get a disguise using a power-up, but if he loses his power-up by taking damage, he has to restart the level because he obviously will be revealed to be Mario. He'll also probably have different gadgets at his disposal that he'll be able to unlock throughout the game, so it'll be sort of almost like a Mission Impossible, or rather should I say Mario Impossible. So that's everything I've got for the 2D games. So now, let's move on to 3D Mario. So, the newest full 3D Mario game was Super Mario Odyssey in 2017. But, earlier this year, we got a port of Super Mario 3D World to the Switch, and it included a whole new side mode called Bowser's Fury. The two main points I'm going to be going over for 3D Mario are going to be a sequel to Mario Odyssey, and something along the lines of the gameplay of Bowser's Fury. So let's start off with the sequel to Odyssey. So I definitely think Odyssey 2 is coming. Now, whether it be the next big 3D Mario game is debatable, but I don't think Nintendo is going to just throw away that amazing engine that they built the game in, only using it for one game. Now, the only 3D mainline Mario game in the past that's gotten a sequel was Galaxy on the Wii. And that was mostly because it sold so many units because the Wii was the Wii. Now, the Switch is selling units even faster than the Wii did, and Mario Odyssey is now the best-selling 3D mainline Mario game. This means that it's only logical that Nintendo would start to make a sequel for it, just like they did for Galaxy. Now, what would this sequel entail to differentiate itself from its predecessor? Well, one thing they could do is more captures. There were plenty of things in the original Mario Odyssey that you weren't able to capture, and it looks like the developers only scratched the surface of the abilities of this new mechanic. It would be so much fun to be able to capture practically anything in the environment, even things that you wouldn't think you'd be able to capture, like maybe this random rock, or maybe a statue or something. I know you were able to do that a few times in the original Mario Odyssey, but what if it happened more often, and you always had to check every little thing to see if you could capture it to find a secret? I know that sounds like it could get a little bit tedious at times, so I feel like a lot of that would only be necessary for post-game, except for, of course, new enemies that you'd be able to capture. Another one of the main points of Mario Odyssey is that it's a globe-trotting adventure, so of course you'd want to be able to go to many more kingdoms. Originally, Delfino Island was supposed to be in Mario Odyssey 1. In fact, it was even in the promotional art for the globe in the map, but for some reason it was cut from the game. Maybe it wasn't finished in time, maybe they decided to save it for later, for Odyssey 2. I fully expect there to be Delfino Island in Odyssey 2 at some point, but what other kingdoms could there be? One route Nintendo could go is going for a full-on nostalgia trip, with there being maybe kingdoms for all sorts of past games, and Mario has to go through places of his past. I feel like that would be a really cool idea, but it would be pretty cool to also see some new locations, so I feel like there should be a balance. Some kingdoms that could come from past games, I feel like, are probably the Sprixie Kingdom from Super Mario 3D World, probably because I have a bias towards 3D World. I mean, it's my favorite Mario game, but still, it would make a great kingdom to explore, especially seeing World Bowser fully explorable instead of just somewhere on a world map. That would be great. And since you go to the Moon Kingdom in the original Mario Odyssey, what if Bowser goes to space again in the second Mario Odyssey game, but on your way there, you have to stop at Rosalina's observatory to repair the Odyssey, and you have to collect power stars in order to power it instead of power moons. And you need to also help Rosalina collect power stars because the observatory has broken down. I feel like both of these would be great ideas, and they could even implement even more places from older Mario games as well. Now let's move on to some new locations that I think would be really cool to add. First up, we have DK Island. Now I know this is technically in other games, but it hasn't been in another Mario game, even though Donkey Kong is part of the Mario universe. It would be really cool to be able to traverse the entire island in a 3D environment without being restricted to a world map. And it would be really cool to see it in HD, given that the last time we really were able to do this was in Donkey Kong 64. Maybe you even have to help Donkey Kong and his family get rid of a threat to DK Island. Maybe it'll even tie into Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, or maybe it'll hint at whatever the next Donkey Kong game is. Either way, I feel like this would be a super fun area to play as in Mario Odyssey 2. Next up, we have a sports-themed kingdom. Not only would this be super fun to play through, but it could also have some lore explaining why Mario is good at pretty much every sport under the sun at this point, given all the Mario sports games that have come out. There could be soccer, basketball, American football, tennis, golf, all sorts of sports that Mario might have to compete in to earn power moves. Maybe he might even have to face off against other Mario characters in order to win tournaments to get prizes, which would be, of course, the power moons, and in some cases, the multi-moons. This could also add a lot of replayability into the game, especially if there are online leaderboards for each of these activities, maybe even online play. Now, I know this is probably not going to happen because those are pretty much reserved for Mario sports games themselves, but still, it would be really fun to have that. And even just to be able to play these sports and have enemies themed around these sports throughout the game would be really fun. And finally, what about a kingdom at sea? What if the Odyssey is taken down by one of Bowser's airships, but instead of landing on an island, what if it lands on a collection of pirate ships that are at sea? And Mario has to go throughout the pirate ships and collect power moons that are in treasure chests that are guarded by pirates. He'll need these to fix the Odyssey again and leave, but there will be all sorts of treasure hidden throughout the ships, and multiple different collectibles you can get as well. Plus, there will be a pirate captain boss at the end that you'll have to fight for a multi-moon, and you might be able to even dive off of the edge of the ship into the water to visit an underwater abandoned city, which could also have multiple different power moons. That might even be why the pirates are there. They're trying to get the treasure from that city. I feel like this would be an incredibly fun kingdom to traverse, and I really hope that's in Mario Odyssey 2. Now, with that out of the way, let's move on to a game that's along the lines of Bowser's Fury. While Bowser's Fury was an incredibly short game, given it was a side mode, it did something that no other Mario had done before. A completely open world. You could go wherever you want, whenever you want, at least once you unlocked all the islands. And I feel that Nintendo put this out here for a reason. I think that this is just a taste of what's to come for a big Mario game. Now, whether that be the next one or if Odyssey 2 is coming first, I don't know. But I cannot wait for this new open world Mario game. The entirety of the world of Bowser's Fury is pretty much the same size as a kingdom in Mario Odyssey. But what if it was so much bigger? Picture all of the kingdoms in Mario Odyssey seamlessly brought together, and you could travel between them as you wished without having to power up the Odyssey. You still collected power moons, so then you could use them to get some greater objective, but you could go wherever you want at any time you wanted. It would be so cool to have that, and I think that Bowser's Fury is the template for future Mario games to be able to do that. If you look at the core gameplay of Bowser's Fury, you'll realize that even though there are all of the cats and everything from 3D World, It was originally designed to likely be something more. This might have been the beginnings of a new Mario game, and they wanted it to be open world, but they decided to bundle it in with 3D World to test out the formula. Everyone's loved it, and the only complaint is it's too short. But if this was only a snippet of what's to come, I am very excited for whatever this new open world Mario may be. And that brings me to my final point for 3D Mario. What if these two main ideas I've mentioned were the same thing? What if Mario Odyssey 2 is open world? Picture the fluidity of Mario's moveset from Odyssey combined with the freedom of Bowser's Fury, but on a so much larger scale. You could go anywhere in such a large area, possibly even as big as Breath of the Wild's Hyrule. It would be so much fun and unprecedented territory for the series. What if instead of an airship, you now have the Odyssey converted to a boat, and all of the kingdoms are connected by water, somewhat like the ocean in Wind Waker, and you're able to do multiple things in the oceans connecting the kingdoms, possibly even connecting to that sea-themed kingdom that I talked about with Odyssey. It would be so amazing, and to be able to just seamlessly go between all the kingdoms and see the other ones on the horizon, and to see the lurking threat of Bowser's kingdom over on the horizon. You see the dark sky, and you know you have to get there. It would be incredible. Now, to be honest, that's probably enough of me ranting about how amazing this open world Mario Odyssey 2 could be. But if you want me to elaborate on any of the concepts that I've talked about in this video even more, make sure to leave a comment below. And while you're down there, make sure to press the like button and subscribe, as well as hit that notification bell so then you're notified whenever I upload a new video. With that out of the way, thank you all for watching. I'm Jacob with the Game Block, signing off.